Framework is set out to do something very challenging: to create a laptop that is easily repairable and still competitive with other laptop manufacturers such as Dell or HP. Do they reach their goals of fixing the laptop industry? Our order for today is specs, repairability, the impact on the tech space, / HP's answer to Framework, and finally we'll see if this is the ruler of repairability they claim and if it's worth buying for yourself. The specs on this laptop are customizable. Your choices for CPU now include Ryzen, meaning there's Intel Ultra, 13th Gen Core, and Ryzen 7th Gen laptop processors. There's no choice for a GPU on this model, but you can always just connect an external graphics card. Storage options go from 250 gigabytes to 4 terabytes, and you can just bring your own NVMe drive. RAM options are 8 gigabytes to 64 gigabytes. All the options that they sell are 3200 megahertz, but like storage, you can bring your own RAM sticks. The display is a 3:2 aspect ratio, which is very odd, with an equally confusing 2256 by 1504 resolution. This unusual choice in display leads to windows and images not looking quite right, because it doesn't fit the usual aspect ratios of 16:9 or 4:3, since the Framework doesn't fit into these common aspect ratios. The width of web pages is actually wider than the display itself. This creates a really weird issue where, in addition to being able to scroll up and down like you normally would, you can also scroll side to side, which means that almost every web page doesn't fit properly on your display. The main selling point of Framework is repairability. Every single component in this laptop, with the exception of the CPU, is replaceable, which means it has an indefinite upgrade path and can always be fixed easily. It is important to mention that as the CPU is soldered to the motherboard, you cannot replace the CPU. That's a fact on every laptop CPU, and it's not a Framework-specific thing. The I/O is interchangeable. By hitting a button on the bottom of the chassis and yanking out the module, you can replace one of your ports with a different one. One of the options is that you can replace it with a module for storage, but that further limits your already limited 4 ports. Hopefully, the introduction of this laptop will force other manufacturers in the industry, such as Asus, Dell, Lenovo, Microsoft, and with lots of luck, Apple, to embrace repairability. Right to repair should absolutely be a thing, and the amount of anti-consumer practices done by these companies, just so that people need to buy a new computer instead of being able to fix their own, should be illegal. Fortunately, HP has already taken that step with their EliteBook 845. It uses only Phillips instead of Phillips and Torx. It uses mostly Phillips 2 screws, and every part can be purchased on HP's website just like the Framework. Framework has recently added Ryzen support and created a 16-inch version of their laptop, showing their continued effort at growth and helping repairability become mainstream. Drivers are software that allow your OS to interact with your hardware. Framework has offered 11th, 12th, and 13th Gen Core versions of their laptops. I have the 12th Gen version, which only has Windows 11 drivers, and I hate Windows 11. So I decided to install 11th Gen drivers for Windows 10, despite the fact that I have a 12th Gen CPU. This happened to have the side effect of the trackpad not functioning. Because of this, I spent 2 hours reinstalling 11th Gen drivers, not understanding my issue, only to remember Windows 11 is essentially a Windows 10 reskin, so it's better to install 12th Gen drivers for Windows 11 because those were made for the configuration I purchased. The Framework laptop is not worth it. Unless you have the confidence to repair it yourself and really care about right to repair. The keyboard is kind of mushy. The larger keys, such as the backspace and the spacebar, rattle, and the resolution is awkward. However, if you're a nerd like me, this delivers on its claimed incredible pro-consumer practices, which is a fantastic reason to buy one, and why I don't regret my purchase.